The great thing about our thoughts is that no one can invade our thoughts unless we allow them to. Thoughts are the one thing we can control. Just think about it. God forbid someone were to steal your wallet or your pocketbook. And in these days of criminal and cyber crimes, all kinds of criminal activities, they can actually steal your identity, but they can't still steal your thoughts. Even when someone gets hit over the head, suffers temporary amnesia, they may not remember their loved ones, may not even remember who they are, but they still have their thoughts, even though if they don't even know what to think about. Whatever they do think about, eventually, are their thoughts and their thoughts alone. Paul said, when I was a child, I did childish things, but when I was a man, I gave up childish things, and he did things as a man. Oliver Wendell Holmes has a wonderful quote, one of my favorite quotes. It says, man's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimension. As we grow in our thoughts and we grow as individuals, we need to maintain and remember one thing. Our thoughts do determine our destiny. You know, there's an old axiom that says, watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for they become your destiny. We've got to be very careful about the things we think, ladies and gentlemen. Thoughts are incredible. Think about them for a moment. You're sitting here watching me. Some are engaged. Some want to be edified. Some want to be taught. Some don't even know what it is I'm saying. Some are thinking about, what am I going to eat tonight? What am I going to do right after I leave here today? What's for lunch? What's being served with this event? And some people are still trying to get over the thing that somebody done to them that other person cannot even remember, but we keep rehearsing it over and over and over and over again, so much so that we become that act that was perpetrated against us. So that act of hatred, we become hatred by the way we think and focus and meditate on hatred. So therefore, the GPS signal we're sending out to the heavenlies is, I'm filled with hatred. So what will you attract? It's the laws of attraction. You put out love, love will find its way to you. You put out joy, joy will find its way to you. You put out happiness, happiness will find its way to you. You put out hatred, hatred has a whole bunch of running buddies, and they all come to sit down and fester at your feet in everything you do. So think about your thoughts. You've got to be very, very careful to understand that the things that you think eventually becomes what you are. So literally what you think will become your destiny. If you're a loving, giving, altruistic person who loves and gives and doesn't look for anything in return, that makes you a conduit because you're clean, you're transparent. But if you're the kind of person that holds on to things and festers things and harbors things, then you become blocked up. What happens to a drain when it's blocked up? It holds things up. But when a drain is free and clear, things can flow through. God can bless you continuously when that which you get from him, you pass on to other people. But when you hold and harbor, he will pass you by. The Buddhists have the same principle on thoughts. Muslims have the same principle on thoughts. Monks have the same principle on thoughts. Muslims pray to Mecca a couple of times a day, because they know they've got to recharge their thinking process. They've got to recharge their spirit because their natural man is being bombarded all through the day. So what they need to do is to be able to put the natural man on pause and fortify their spirit. So unless at the end of the day you spend some time in prayer and meditation and in the Word to clean out your spirit and saturate and fortify it with the Word and the Spirit of our living, loving, forgiving, perfect God, what you're doing is creating a lot of clutter. It's a vacuum cleaner bag that you never empty. It just keeps collecting, and then the suction or its ability to take in that which it should take in is now compromised. And then afterward, what happens? It starts to smell. It permeates the air with all that is within it. And that's what you do to yourself when you don't control your thoughts. So as Christians, we ought to spend the same amount of time reading and meditating and purging our spirit, keeping short accounts. That's the wonderful thing about David in the Bible. He sinned more than many of us ever think would. But the great thing about David that made him so phenomenal in the eyes of God is that David kept short accounts with God. As soon as David sinned and he messed up, David was on his knees, that day at least. And David just didn't say, oops, my bad, I'm sorry, God. David would write a heartbreaking love song of repentance and sorrow to God. And that is what moved God, and it purged his spirit. And he forgave, and God forgave him. Do you know what the number one killer in this country is? It's not car accident, it's not drunken driving, it's not heart disease, it's not cancer, it's stress. The cause of whatever the number one killer in this country is stress. And American Medical Association says it's heart, but AIDS is catching up, so is cancer. Cancer and heart disease kind of vacillate between number 1 and 2. It is stress, because stress drives us to do things to ourselves. Satan doesn't cause everything. Certain things, he's just got to dangle the carrot in front of you, and our character takes over the rest. So if Satan gets you stressed out over your lack of self-worth, low self-esteem, the fact you hate your boss and you spend 8 hours out of the day at your job and you hate going there every single day, being away from your family, and when you get home, you're at your very worst, you treat your family poorly, you treat yourself poorly, so now what do? We self-indulge to please our flesh. All the foods, the processed foods, the sugars, the salts, the gravies, the sodas, the syrups, we consume all of that stuff to the detriment of our bodies. So you really want to see your destiny changed? You want to see wonderful things happen in your life? Change your thought process. Change the way you see things. Change the way you process things. Take a different route to the same destination. Don't just greet somebody with a phony, hey, how you doing, what's going on? What was your name again? And how do you pronounce that? Great. Say the name again. Okay, well, good to meet you. Thank you. Good to really meet you. You know, I like those shoes. I like your hair. Say something complimentary. Try, if you can, every single day to say something complimentary to someone. I don't mean flatter aimlessly just for the sake of, but say something sincerely positive to somebody to leave a legacy in each and every day that you are here on this planet and blessed here. Because right now in a hospital room, there is someone who wishes they can trade spaces with you. They want to remove the IVs, the oxygen mask, all the tubes, just to sit where you're sitting right now, with your family, with your spouse and kids, with the job you claim you hate so much. They just wish they had one more day of normalcy. Stop taking things for granted. Get over yourself. Get over the things that you're dealing with. Start thinking, you know what? How would I live this life if I had 15 more days left on this planet? It doesn't mean you've got to live it vicariously and carelessly and whimsically. It just means bring value to everything you do. Bring value to your relationships. Bring value to your purpose. Understand your value. Seek out your value from God. Unless the value of something is determined, its abuse is inevitable.